Italian and Portuguese. And that is a big body of space that we could cover. There's a lot of published material in those languages. Languages that are hard to translate to, because remember, it's not just translate. There's two ways to do it. You could build a system that is just in that language, right? So the input is in that language and the knowledge is in it. Or you can build a system where you translate the input into English and then go against English and then translate on the way back out. But if you've ever played with Google Translate, and you can play a game where you go in and out with the same question back and forth 5 or 6 times, the meaning gets completely lost. So there's still a lot of invention to be done when we're dealing with multiple languages. Yep.
Very interesting presentation you gave. In the medical arena, there are all these devices that can provide feedback and you can measure things on a mobile phone for your pulse and all kinds of things. And there are also established ways of getting feedback from the patient based upon a survey kinds of things, like patient-reported outcomes. Are you envisioning that to be another means of communication?
They're just other information sources.
It would just be another information source?
Yeah. There was an IBM TV commercial a couple of years ago where they showed a neonatal intensive care unit, and they showed a newborn baby, and they overlaid it. They had simulating zeros and ones kind of running all over the body of the baby in it. That was actually a real life scenario that we did with Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. And it was one of those cases where a researcher in statistics visited a relative who had had a premature baby that was in the neonatal intensive care unit. And she walked in and she saw all these different devices that were connected up to the baby that had paper tapes coming off the end, wrapping. And the information inside in each of the devices would get flushed every 15 minutes or so, right? And she looked at this and said, I can do something about this. And she called us and we started working with them. And we took a set of our research technology called streams. Think of it as a river, where you take all of the data from all of those different devices and you feed it into an ongoing, just think of it as a river of data. Twitter is a river of data, right? It's just a river of useless data. But no offense on Twitter. It's just, there's a lot of data in there that really is not relevant. But so what we did is all these different systems fed through this, and we created algorithms to look for patterns or anomalies. Think of it as the fishnet that I talked about earlier. And by the end of the study, we were identifying potential problems with the babies 24 hours before the doctors were going to see them, based on the combination of the information across all of the devices, right? The devices were being looked at previously by the staff as independent data sources, not necessarily